Breaking overnight, the NTSB says both black boxes have been recovered from the plane and the military helicopter involved in that deadly crash. The plane left Wichita Wednesday night on a direct flight to D.C. before colliding with the military aircraft. This morning, crews continue to search through the wreckage for those still missing, and we're learning more information about some of the victims. Rand Alley has the update.
This morning, the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, known as the black boxes, have been recovered from the American Airlines plane that collided with a Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac River.
We'll be able to put it in space and time, exactly what headings were they on, what airspeeds were they flying, what was their attitude, and a lot of other information that may help us understand the accident.
The Army helicopter on a training flight crashed into the passenger jet as the plane was landing at Reagan Airport. All 64 people on board the plane and 3 soldiers on the chopper are presumed dead. Dive teams have stopped operations after saying they've recovered all the bodies they're able to without moving the plane's fuselage. Today, they begin the work of trying to salvage aircraft components.
We look at facts on our investigation, and that will take some time.
In the final moments of the flight, air traffic control asked the pilots of the plane to land on a different runway. Radio traffic does not reveal whether the plane's pilots saw the helicopter, but a helicopter pilot can be heard acknowledging the plane. And the flight path shows the chopper flying at about 350 feet when it should have been flying at under 200 feet. One expert says early indications show a tragic sequence of events, suggesting the helicopter pilots were looking at the wrong plane. It's unclear how many air traffic controllers were working at the time of the crash, but an FAA report says staffing in the tower was not normal. Sources say the controller handling helicopters in the area during the collision was also handling airline traffic. Those jobs are typically assigned to 2 separate controllers, but supervisors routinely combine them when aircraft volume goes down. On the night of the crash, the decision to combine those jobs was made 40 minutes earlier than usual because of lighter traffic. Safety concerns have been increasing in the airspace around Reagan Airport. The airport was designed to accommodate 15 million passengers each year, but now sees more than 25 million a year. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News in Arlington, Virginia.
A couple from Kiowa, Bob and Lori Schrock, were among those 64 people on the American Eagle flight. Their family is remembering them as a generous couple who always put family first. Along with a 30-year-old Wichita civil rights attorney and former Miss Kansas contestant, Kia Duggins. Fowl Plains of Central Kansas waterfowl outfitter says it lost 7 of its hunters in the crash. The group is asking for prayers in this Facebook post, saying 3 of the other hunters were driving home. The figure skating community is also remembering 2 coaches who were the 1994 World Pair Figure Skating Champions. Friends saying they made a huge impact to hundreds within that community and will be greatly missed. A mother and daughter, Brielle and Justina Beyer, were from Virginia, and Ian Epstein was a flight attendant on that flight. Samuel Lilly, the flight's first officer, a pilot, he was inspired to fly by his father, who was an Army helicopter pilot. As more victims' names are released, you can stay up to date on our website, cake.com. Governor Laura Kelly was in Wichita with an update on what she's learned about the plane crash. The governor says she's been in contact with federal agencies, getting real-time updates. She says it's going to be a long wait for information, but she does expect the passenger manifest, that's the complete list of passengers, to be released to the public sometime today.
In my conversation with the National Transportation Safety Board this afternoon, I asked them exactly that question, and they're waiting for all the families to be notified. And there are some folks who are on that plane who are from overseas, and so that's partially the reason for the delay.
Kelly says she believes the crash was an avoidable accident, but wants to learn more as the investigation unfolds. Senators Jerry Moran and Roger Marshall held a joint news conference yesterday afternoon, offering their condolences to those with loved ones who died in the crash. Now they're seeking answers from the FAA, NTSB, and air traffic controllers as to how the crash happened.
There's no communication, direct communication between the civilian and the military helicopter and airplane. Instead, it has to go through air traffic control and then it's relayed rather than an opportunity back and forth.
While officials are still investigating the tragedy, answers are expected to be released in the coming months, potentially taking a full year. Both senators said they will not rest until the victims' families have answers. And in response to the Flight 5342 tragedy, the city of Wichita has launched the ICT Together Fund to support the affected families and local efforts. The nonprofit says 100% of contributions will provide direct aid to impacted families, community support, and healing for those who need it. You can find a link to that on our website, cake.com.